You might have heard the terms destructive and non-destructive, but what do they mean? Let me show you how they are ideas that can be applied to different processes and workflows. The easiest way to explain might be by imagining a piece of paper. When you write on it with a pencil, you can easily use an eraser to move what you made. So you could say that drawing with a pencil is non-destructive, or less destructive. On the other hand, if you draw the same shape with a marker, removing it is not that easy. You have committed to the shape. You did something destructive. So as you can imagine, it's pretty useful to be non-destructive as long as you can, and commit to something only if you're sure that you want to commit to it. Let me give you some more basic examples of how programs offer opportunities to be non-destructive.
So here in Photoshop I have a simple circle. Like let's say I'm adding another circle on top of this circle within the same layer. Give it a pink color, draw some more over it, make it blue, put it here, put it there, add some green. There we go. Now, if I come back a day later and I want to change this pink to another color, let's say yellow, you see, you get all these sort of weird details. So it's practically impossible. Now, however, what I could do is have the circle, put the other circle in this new layer, and put the color I want to put on top in another layer. Now, if I don't like the green anymore, I can just deactivate the layer, make a new layer, fill it with yellow, and there we go. Even better is adding a mask to a layer. So let's say I make a new layer, I fill it with yellow, I add a mask, fill the mask with black, and start drawing within the mask with white. Now the layer underneath appears where the mask has been painted white. If I want to change the color now to maybe like a red, I just change the whole layer and the mask still applies. So that's an example of non-destructiveness. Let's go to Blender. Let's take this simple cube as an example. Now we want to bevel these edges. We could go into edit mode and create the bevels, like so. But what if we are not happy with them later on? What if we want to change them? And for the sake of the example, imagine that we are a bit further in the modeling process, so we can't simply Ctrl Z to undo, because that would mean we lost all the work we have done on the model since the bevel. We can't, so we would have to start over. Now let's have a look at this new cube. Instead of beveling manually, we add a bevel modifier. We can make all the changes we want, and we still have control over the bevels. That's an example of non-destructiveness. Now, depending on the goal of our model, at some point we might have to commit to a modifier. Or in other words, we would have to make a destructive move. Now the bevel modifier is applied, and it's not that easy anymore to adjust the bevels. In those cases, what we can do is either save the file before we commit, and then save as increment right after, like so. This way we can always go back to the model before we commit it. Another way is to duplicate the model and just switch it off and rename it accordingly. In both cases, the same principle applies. We can always go back to the step just before we commit it. The main takeaway is one of awareness. Try to work as non-destructive as possible, seek ways to be as non-destructive as possible, and be aware of when you are taking a step that is destructive. Hope that helps. Take care and see you.